Hey everyone, so I just came back from vacation where myself and Player 2 leverage our credit cards such as the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Bilt Mastercard, the Capital One Venture X, and yes, the IG Premier Rewards card, where we earned over $20,000 in value during our time. Where all of our travel redemptions that include stops such as Japan, Taiwan, and Paris, France, and all of our travel redemptions were booked with points and miles. Our travel redemptions included 4 business class or first class flights with airlines such as ANA All Nippon Airways, Starlux Airlines, KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, and Virgin Atlantic. We also had 5 hotel stays which included brands such as the World of Hyatt, IHG, and Choice Hotels. By using points and miles to offset the cost for our hotels and flights, we were able to really enjoy and experience these awesome destinations to the fullest. So in this video, we will break down the travel redemptions through our flights and hotels and how much value we got. But due to time constraints and trying to make this very, easy, this will be part 1 where we will discuss the breakdown of our flights for this video. We will go over the cash price, the cents per point, all that great stuff to give you a clearer picture on what you can do when you use your points and miles for travel redemptions. Otherwise, if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm and make sure to subscribe for more future videos down the line. Otherwise, let's start with the first flight from America. So chronologically, we had to fly to Japan and it was from Chicago. So of course, I'm based in Atlanta, so we had to do a positioning flight. And yes, we took Frontier Airlines. Let's try not to laugh. The flight cost for 2 people $77. Now if you're wondering, well, was that out of pocket? Well, no, I actually had some flight credits shown here from Frontier from a past canceled flight that we used, so there was no cost for this positioning flight. And like I said, before you laugh on why we chose Frontier Airlines, one of the reasons why is because we are taking in check-in luggage, and because of my elite status with Frontier, I leveraged that and we got free check-in, free priority seating. So that was such an easy win, regardless of just, a short 2-hour flight to Chicago from Atlanta. So I will mention we did have a one-night stay at the Hyatt in Chicago, which we'll discuss in part 2, but let's move on to the flight experience. So for this flight from Chicago to Tokyo, Japan, it was, as I discussed in many of my videos, and be sure to check out the link below about how I booked it, but basically it was from Chicago ORD to Haneda Airport in Tokyo, and it was a first class flight, ANA The Suites. The flight cost 85,000 points, which came from my Capital One account and was booked through Virgin Atlantic. And that flight, of course, went to ANA. The tax and fees for this flight, including the 85,000 points, which I used, shown here, was about just over $200, and that can vary based on the fees of fuel. And the cash price is a whopping almost $14,000 with a CPP of just widely over 10. But like I said, and take it just more of an estimation rather than actual value in regard for how much I got for this flight. And lastly, it was an amazing experience. I won't go into it too deeply because I made also a video here, which is shown here. Flying first class, 14 hours in the sky was great. Make sure to check it out and let me know what you all think. But yes, that was one redemption so far where I got great value and saved a lot of money going overseas to Asia. Oh, so what a great start to the vacation. So let's move on to our second flight. As after 8 days in Japan, it's time to move on to our next destination, which is Taipei, Taiwan. And if you guessed it here based on this card here, we're going to be flying Starlux Airlines business class flight. We'll be flying the A330-900 Neo and also an A350-900 as well. So we flew about 2 hours and 30 minutes in the sky from Osaka, Japan to Taipei, Taiwan. For the deals of the redemption and how much it costs, let's turn it back to Mike in the past. Thanks, Michael. This is Michael from Paris, France, from the Roland Garros. So what was the value of what I did and how to get that Starlux business class? Well, it cost me 15,000 Alaska Air Miles, which I got through Bilt. I used it through Bilt, and that's how I transferred the points to get this flight, because Starlux and Alaska have a special partnership. And well, 15,000 Alaska Air Miles, cash price is around $400 to $500, so cents per point can value at about around 3 to 4. Is a good estimation. Like I said, it can be slightly inflated. And for a 2.5 hour flight in the sky with a full service boba lie flat seat, that's an incredible deal on my part, especially when you compare this to an intra-Europe business class, which is pretty much a joke. So anyway, that's the value for that flight, and then we'll pass it back to Mike and we'll talk about our next redemption. So the next flight, which I forgot to do it over abroad, but we're going to do it right here, my third business class flight, and this one actually is from Asia to Europe, and that was KLM Royal Dutch Airlines as I flew from Taipei, Taiwan to Amsterdam, Netherlands. The flight was booked through Delta Airlines, where I used my Delta Sky Pesos, and it was bookable through KLM, which are SkyTeam partners. The flight was about 13 hours in the sky from Taipei to Amsterdam, and I flew the 787 Dreamliner. It was a business class flight where 80,000 of my Delta Sky Pesos came from the welcome offer I received last year when I got the American Express Business Gold Card. So that's how those points were used in regard for this flight. The cash price for this flight was about $3,000, and with paying 80,000 Sky Pesos and about $15–20 tax and fees, the CPP was about 3.75, 3.8 cents per point, to give just an estimation of what we put on these flights. And lastly, I don't have the video out yet, but be on the lookout in the coming months as I have my flight review of this video, and it's a very, very scintillating one, as I actually dubbed it the worst business class flight experience doing this now for the last 2 years, and I've flown over 5 business class flights in the last 2 years. So be on the lookout for that. Anyway, let's pass it on for the next business class flight experience and redemption. Back to Mike. Oh, so after 3 days in Paris, it's finally time to go back home to America. And what did I choose? I chose Virgin Atlantic to fly back home, as I took a flight 8 hours in the sky from London Heathrow Airport to New York JFK. I flew Virgin Atlantic business class, dubbed upper class, and I flew the A330-300, which includes a lounge on the plane. And one of the reasons I chose this particular airline was a great deal I got, which I'll discuss right now on how I booked this flight and the redemption and value I got flying Virgin Atlantic. Why, thanks, Mike. So for the value of my Virgin Atlantic business class flight, let me explain the breakdown right now. It cost me 23,500 Virgin Atlantic points and about $600 tax and fees. And you're thinking, that's really low, Michael. Well, because I took advantage of a Virgin Atlantic 50% award sale a couple months ago. I'll show it on the graphic here. Usually it's a 45 to 50,000 point award flight from Virgin Atlantic, but there was a sale. I took advantage of it, and that is the reason why another reason why I took that flight with a huge sale. If you put it with a cash price around $6,000, the CPP is out of this world, over 20 CPP. I believe it's 24 CPP as I'm showing here. That's the value you get when you take advantage of sales and promotions from airlines. So that's when I want to go to the value of that flight. So let me know in the comments below what you think. I say about $6,000, a little bit inflated, so maybe 4 or 5. Either way, that's a great value for only $600 tax and fees. So anyway, let's pass it back to Mike. Anyways, thanks everyone. So anyways, back to America. I want to make a note for that Virgin Atlantic flight. I did use 22,500 of my Capital One miles to Virgin Atlantic. So I make that caveat. That's where the transfer came from, with a tremendous value of over 20 CPP. All in all, that's part 1 of my travel redemptions of basically flying around the world. I received a value of over $23,000 for 4 luxury travel redemptions around the world, with an average CPP for those 4 flights about 10 to 11, as it ranged as low as 3 and up to 24, as you've seen here. Part 2 will be coming out pretty soon on the hotel part, as I received tremendous value staying at nice hotel brands such as the World of Hyatt, IG, and Choice Hotels. Otherwise, that's all I got for this video. I appreciate everyone joining and listening to this content of this tremendous trip that I experienced in the last 2.5 weeks. I would appreciate it if you leave a comment and let me know what you all think about all the stuff I've discussed in the last couple of minutes. And of course, if you find this value entertaining or useful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, or even share this content going forward to anyone who is clearly interested. Anyway, as I say in all my videos, life is short, travel more everyone, and once again, stay tuned till the end for a lot of nice clips from my trip around Europe and Asia. Otherwise, I'll see y'all later, and stay tuned for part 2 in the next coming weeks or months.